everyone, and welcome back to One Arm Robber. Today's video is the highly requested weapon tier list, which will go over most of the weapons, and I'll give them a ranking and tell you the pros and cons of each weapon. And we'll also break them down into categories, such as assault weapons, submachine guns, shotguns, single shot rifles, light machine guns, and secondary weapons. And without further ado, let's go on with the first weapon, the LC4. The LC4 is the first weapon you'll start out with a damage of 35, rate of fire 650 rounds per minute, capacity is 30 rounds, accuracy is 60, recoil 25, and a reload speed of 1.4 seconds. Alright, we have our standard LC4, nothing attached to it, and we're gonna fire at this wall to showcase the recoil pattern. And as you can see, the pattern gets a little bit wider as we go up. Sometimes it will start curving to the left. So what you want to do is start pulling back on your mouse and to the right a little bit. And being the first weapon, it has almost all the attachments that you can add to this weapon. Scopes include red dot, holographic, ACOG, marksman, hunter scope, and the precision red dot sight. And for the muzzle, you have a suppressor, muzzle brake, flash hider, and a heavy muzzle brake. And for grips, you have the 3 standard, angle grip, compact vertical grip, and vertical grip. And for the magazine, you can have a compact mag, extended mag, drum mag, or double drum mag. With the double drum mag, you can increase the capacity all the way up to 80 rounds. I think this is a good weapon to start out with. Even with some of the attachments that you can add to it, it makes it a decent weapon through the mid levels. So because of that, I'll give it a B ranking. And next we're moving on to the MK47. The MK47 has a damage of 45, rate of fire is 600 rounds per minute, capacity is 30 rounds, accuracy is 50, recoil is 40, and the reload time is 1.4 seconds. Okay, we have the standard MK47, nothing on it, and we're gonna do a recoil test on this wall over here. And as you can see, the recoil is much different on the MK47 compared to the LC4. The bullets aren't as spaced as the LC4, and they're much spread apart. And it seems the pattern kind of shifts each time. Sometimes it'll spread to the left, and sometimes it'll spread to the right. So keep that in mind if you're spraying with the MK47. But unlike the LC4, the MK47 has more damage, but it sacrifices rate of fire, along with some recoil and accuracy issues. This means that the gun's gonna be jumping around a lot while you're firing it. Also, if we go to the attachments, it has fewer options that can be added to it. For the scope, it's missing the marksman hunter scope. For the muzzle, it has all the same. For the grip, it can only have a vertical grip, which will increase accuracy and reduce recoil. And then when we go to the mag, it can only have a single drum mag, only increasing the capacity to 50. Even though I like using the AK in different games, this game, however, the increased damage doesn't really justify the decreased rate of fire and also the accuracy and recoil issues. So with that, I give it a C ranking. Next up, we have the B46D. Oh baby, the B46D has a damage of 40, fire rate is 750 rounds per minute, capacity is 30 rounds, accuracy is 67, recoil is 22, and the reload speed is 1.2 seconds. Alright, we got the standard B46D, nothing on it, and we're gonna do a recoil test on this wall right in front of us. I'm not noticing major pull to the left or the right, maybe slightly to the right, so when you're firing this full auto, make sure you're pulling the mouse back and to the left a little bit to correct this. This is one of my favorite guns to use. The damage is right in the middle of the AK and the LC4, and the rate of fire is 750, making it the fastest of all the assault rifles. And there's no short of attachments. It has all the attachments available in the game. Even the magazine can have the drum mag, making it a capacity of 80 rounds. And because of this balance of higher damage and the fastest fire rate of all the assault rifles, I give it our first A tier. Which moves on to our next weapon, the BPR-28. The BPR-28 has a damage of 50, rate of fire is 550 rounds per minute, capacity is 30 rounds, accuracy is 76, recoil is 25, and the reload time is 1.5 seconds. Alright, recoil test, we have the standard BPR-28, nothing on it, and here we go. That rate of fire is so slow, but as you can see, everything is so close and compact. That's very nice accuracy and good recoil. That's a good pattern that we're seeing. Everything's nice and tight. That means the recoil is not bumping around as much, and the accuracy is going pinpoint, but that rate of fire is really slow compared to all the other weapons. Yes, the gun has 50 damage, but the rate of fire suffers like the MK47. But unlike the MK47, the BPR-28 has higher accuracy and less recoil, meaning this gun won't jump as much as the MK47. Though this gun has almost all the attachments that you can get, if we go to the magazine, you cannot put a drum mag on this gun, meaning the highest capacity of rounds you can have is 40 rounds. But even though that the BPR-28 has higher damage and good accuracy and good recoil, I'm gonna give it the same ranking as the MK47, a C ranking, mostly because the fire rate is so slow and you can't put a drum mag on this weapon. Which moves us on to the next weapon, the TACR-H. Damage on this weapon is 48, rate of fire is 600 rounds per minute, capacity is 30 rounds, accuracy is 80, recoil is 25, reload time 1.3 seconds. Alright, we're ready for the recoil test for the standard TACR-H, and I have high hopes since it has similar stats to the BPR-28. Not a whole lot of pull in the beginning, kind of started curving to the right just a little bit, but the bullets are condensed together, meaning the recoil is not jumping all over the place. And as we can see, the bullets are more condensed, and it's not much of a pull to the right or left, a little slight to the right, so make sure you're pulling back on the mouse and to the left a little bit. I can't believe I wasn't using this weapon sooner. The damage wise, it's 2 less than the BPR-28, and the rate of fire is the same as the MK47, and with the attachments available to it, you can really skyrocket the accuracy and lower the recoil of this weapon. Also with the magazine, you can add a double drum mag, increasing the capacity to 80 rounds. So with its decent damage and its high accuracy and less recoil, I'm gonna give it a B ranking. It's gonna just beat out the MK47 and the BPR-28. And finally, the last assault rifle, the IM-1G. The IM-1G has a damage of 55, rate of fire is 650 rounds per minute, capacity is 35 rounds, accuracy is 70, recoil is 35, and the reload time is 1.6 seconds. Alright, we're ready for the final recoil test for the assault weapons, the standard IM-1G. Man, that thing sounds like a cannon, but there is a little bit of a jump. As you can see, the bullet pattern is not as condensed as the SCAR-H was, or the BPR-28, but that can be fixed with attachments. As we can see, the IM-1G kind of pulls to the right a little bit, so make sure you're pulling back and to the left when you're firing this at full auto. This weapon was recently added in the last gun update, and I gotta say, this is my favorite weapon to use of all time. It's got the highest damage of all the assault rifles, it has the same rate of fire as the LC4. Also with some of the attachments, you can increase the accuracy and reduce the recoil significantly. You can also attach a double drum mag, making it have 85 rounds in a single magazine, making it the most of all the assault rifles. Also, it sounds like an AA gun taking down aircraft. And because of all this, I'm going to give it an S, making it our first rank S weapon. Now with the assault rifles out of the way, we're going to move on to the submachine guns. And the first submachine gun we're going to talk about is the CX-9. The CX-9 has a damage of 30, rate of fire is 850 rounds per minute, capacity is 25 rounds, accuracy is 70, recoil is 20, and the reload time is 1.1 seconds. And now we're ready to do the recoil test for our first submachine gun, the standard CX-9. Okay, after test 1, little pull to the left, condense at the very beginning before it starts to fan out. Okay, test number 2 shows, condense at the very beginning before it starts fanning out, slight pull to the right this time. And after test 3, no pull to the left or right, and it's got the same pattern as before. If you see my previous videos, you know I like using this weapon during my stealth heist. That feeling of zooming into a heist super fast and quickly dispatching all the guards feels super nice, but with the damage of 30, you have to worry about placements of your shots. Either get headshots or put enough bullets into the body to take down those guards. But luckily, the accuracy and recoil are not that bad. And with some of those attachments, you can increase the accuracy and reduce the recoil even further. Though I'll just say right away, you can put an ACOG scope on this weapon, along with the other submachine gun, but you can't put a hunter scope on these. And luckily, you can put a drum mag on this weapon, making it have 50 rounds in a mag. And with all that, I'm going to give the CX-9 a B ranking. This weapon would have got a higher rank, if not for the next submachine gun, the SP5. The SP5 has a damage of 45, rate of fire is 650 rounds per minute, capacity is 30, accuracy is 70, recoil is 20, and the reload time is 1.4 seconds. Alright, we're ready for the recoil test for the standard SP5. After test number 1, as we can see, the pattern is not much spread out, and it was much dead center. It didn't really pull to the left or to the right. And just like test number 1, test 2, dead center, not much pull to the left or right, and the pattern is not much spread out, which is good. As you can see, after test 3, similar results to test 1 and test 2. Not much pull to the left and to the right. Also an added bonus to test 3, all the bullets were more condensed and didn't spread out as much. The SP5 is one of the new guns that was added in the new update, and even though it has less rate of fire than the CX-9, it has more damage. And because of that, you can take out enemies much quicker. It also has the same recoil and accuracy as the CX-9. Pretty much if you compare the SP5 to any of the other weapons, it's the LC4 assault rifle, which has more damage, same rate of fire, but the accuracy and recoil is much better. Also, you can add a drum mag to the SP5 to make it have 55 rounds per magazine. And because of all that, I'm going to give the SP5 an S ranking. Even though it sacrifices its rate of fire, it's not as slow as the MK47 or the BPR-28. Now that the submachine guns are out of the way, let's move on to the shotguns. And the first shotgun we're going to talk about is the MS-950. The MS-950 has a damage of 25, rate of fire 60 rounds per minute, capacity 7 rounds, accuracy 10, recoil 100, and the reload time is 2 seconds. Alright, we're back at the testing grounds, and we're going to test the spread pattern for the MS-950 shotgun. We're going to do 2 different tests. We're going to do a spread pattern from the hip, and one aiming down sights. So here's the one from the hip. As we can see, the spread pattern is really spread out from the hip. Now let's go aim down sights over here to the right. A little bit more condensed, not much spread out, but it's still pointing to the right a little bit. The MS-950 was added in the most recent update, and the different attachments you can have is a red dot, holographic for scope, and the muzzle attachments you can have is a muzzle brake, heavy muzzle brake, and a suppressor, so you can take this along during stealth missions. For the grip, you have the 3 standard, angle grip, compact vertical grip, and vertical grip. And for the magazine, you can have extended mag, adding 3 more rounds to the grand total of 10 rounds. Now my take on the MS-950, yes, it's very fun when you're doing the heist loud, but if you're doing the heist stealthily, I don't recommend taking a shotgun with you. Because the spread of the pellets might go around the camera if you're trying to break it, and sometimes if the guard's too far away, you might not take him out in one shot. But also with the MS-950, it's a pump shotgun, so if you're aiming down sights while you're pumping it, it can get very disorienting going up and down. So you might have to master canceling your ADS while you're pumping the next shell. And because of this, the MS-950 I give a C ranking. And now moving on to the next shotgun, the XN-1070. The XN-1070 has a damage of 20, rate of fire is 300 rounds per minute, capacity is 10 rounds, accuracy is 10, recoil is 100, and the reload time is 2 seconds. Alright, we're back at the lab again, and we have our XN-1070 shotgun. Same as before with the other shotgun, let's test out the spread pattern. It's a little bit condenser than the other one, just a little bit more condensed, but the only good thing about this is the rate of fire. Just like the MS-950, the XN-1070 was added in the recent gun update. The XN-1070 has all the same attachments as the MS-950, except the extended mag increases it by 3, giving it 13 rounds rather than the standard 10. Unlike the MS-950 though, the XN-1070 is a semi-automatic shotgun, so you don't have to rack each round, getting that disoriented feeling. Just like the MS-950 though, the XN-1070, I recommend using it for loud heists and not really stealth heists because it has the same issues as the MS-950. But because the damage is a little bit lower but the rate of fire is much higher, I give the XN-1070 a B ranking. And with that, we're done with the shotguns and we're going to move on to the single shot rifles. And the first single shot rifle we're going to talk about is the SPR-12. The SPR-12 has a damage of 80, fire rate is 350 rounds per minute, capacity is 10 rounds, accuracy is 80, recoil is 50, and the reload time is 1.2 seconds. Alright, we're back at our testing wall, and we're about to test out the standard SPR-12. Okay, after test number 1, since it's just a single shot rifle, everything's condensed and it's not much spread out, which is good in a single shot rifle. Okay, after these last 2 tests, slight pull to the left just a little bit, so make sure when you're firing this, pull to the right and down. The SPR-12 is basically a sniper rifle. Place an ACOG or a marksman hunter scope and you're ready to go. It's got all the muzzle attachments and all the grip attachments, but for the mag size, you can only add 10 more rounds for a grand total of 20 rounds per mag. With its nice damage output and high accuracy, if you can handle the recoil, it's a standard good weapon. So for the SRP-12, I'm gonna give it a C ranking. And would have got a higher ranking if not for the next single shot rifle, the N1A. The N1A has a damage of 85, rate of fire is 450 rounds per minute, capacity is 15 rounds, accuracy is 75, recoil is 50, and the reload time is 1.5 seconds. Back at the testing ground again, and we have our standard N1A single shot rifle. Test number 1 shows not much pull to the left and to the right, but all the bullets are kind of condensed, a little bit of spreading out at the very top though. is about the same, but not much pull to the left. Though, because it's a single shot rifle, most of the time you're just going to take your time making sure your shots count, so you can readjust to keep hitting in the center. The N1A was added in the most recent gun update, and if we compare it to the SPR-12, it has a higher damage and better fire rate, but also it has a nice capacity, which can be extended with an extended mag up to 25 rounds. And though it suffers a little bit in accuracy than the SPR-12, we can correct that with some muzzles and some grips, which has the same as the SPR-12. So I think the N1A is a better sniper alternative. Just place an ACOG or a sniper scope on it and you'll do just fine. And with that, I give the N1A an A ranking. And finally, we're gonna move on to the last primary, the light machine gun. And the only gun in this category is the L245. The L245 has a damage of 40, rate of fire is 750 rounds per minute, capacity is 100 rounds, accuracy is 40, recoil is 50, and the reload time is 3 seconds. Alright, we're at the testing wall again with our final primary weapon, the big light machine gun, the L245. Okay, test number 1. The bullet spread is a little bit too much. As you can see, nothing is really condensed until very the beginning. I recommend pulling back on your mouse when firing it. Luckily, there's not much pull to the left and to the right. It's just the bullet recoil and the spread is just making it spread out more than what we would like. See, after pulling back on the mouse, we can see that the spread is still there, but it's condensed in a big ball area. The L245 is the only light machine gun currently in the game, and it holds the #1 ranking for the standard mag size of 100 rounds. Sadly, in the attachments, you cannot add an extended mag, but it also holds the #1 ranking for reload time of 3 seconds. And if you're worried about the reload time, that's where the skill speed loader would come in handy. The funny thing is, you can attach a suppressor to the L245, taking it with you during stealth heists. But you also have to worry about accuracy and recoil, since they're pretty low and high. Luckily, with some of the muzzle attachments, you can increase the accuracy and reduce the recoil, and also with the vert grip, you can increase it even further. Though its accuracy is a little bit too low still, and its recoil is a little bit too high, it's very fun during loud heists. All in all, it's a fun weapon, but if I had to rank it, I would give the L245 a B ranking. It's fun to use, but it's not practical. Next up, we're going to talk about the secondaries, but I'm not going to go into great detail with a lot of them. I'm only going to go into detail with 3 of them. But the first secondary that we have is the KX-UPP. The KX-UPP has a damage of 27, fire rate is 545 rounds per minute, capacity is 12 rounds, accuracy is 42.4, recoil is 24, and the reload time is 1.2 seconds. And the different attachments that you can have for the KX-UPP are, for a scope, you can have a red dot sight or a slanted red dot sight. For the muzzle, you're stuck with a suppressor and you can't have defaults, and you can have a muzzle brake or a flash hider. For the grip, you can either have a short grip or a long grip, and for the mag, you can either have an extended mag, which increases the capacity up to 20, or you can add a quick draw mag, decreasing the reload time to 0.8 seconds. Now, since I don't use the secondaries that often, that's why I'm not going to go into great detail, so I give the KX-UPP a C ranking. And now the next secondary that we're going to go over is the UP92. The UP92 is a damage of 50, rate of fire is 400 rounds per minute, capacity is 15 rounds, accuracy is 60, recoil is 40, and the reload time is 1.5 seconds. The UP92 has the same attachments as the KX-UPP, but if we go over to the magazine, we can add an extended mag to increase it up to 25 rounds. Or we can have a quick draw mag to decrease it to 1.1 seconds. So with the UP92, I actually recommend a quick draw mag to reduce the reload time to 1.1 seconds, since you already have 15 rounds in a magazine. And because the damage is so high, and we can increase the accuracy and reduce the recoil with different muzzles and grips, I would actually give the UP92 a B ranking. Next up, we have the GT17. The GT17 has a damage of 32, rate of fire is 600 rounds per minute, capacity is 14 rounds, accuracy is 40, recoil is 20, and the reload time is 1.2 seconds. Now, it's got all the same attachments as before. If we go over to the mag, however, we have an extended mag, and we can increase it to 22 rounds per mag, and the quick draw mag can reduce the reload time to 0.8 seconds. Now, this pistol has a good rate of fire, but the damage is a little bit too low, so you have to put more shots into your enemies. And compared to the UP92, I actually think that this gun is a little bit underneath that. So I give the GT17 a C ranking. Next up, we have the 11A1. The 11A1 has a damage of 60, rate of fire is 350 rounds per minute, capacity is 7 rounds, accuracy is 60, recoil is 60, and the reload time is 1.2 seconds. Once again, we have all the same attachments as the other secondaries, but if we look at the magazine, a quick draw mag would reduce the reload time to 0.8 seconds, and an extended mag would increase it to 17 rounds. If you watch my previous videos in my stealth guides, this was the pistol I was actually using for my secondary for a lot of that. But if I look at the stats, I think the UP92 is a little bit better, but I still give the 11A1, because of its iconic look, a B ranking. Alright, and now we get to the 3 weapons that I'm going to go into much detail about. Starting off with the ZM48. The ZM48 has a damage of 60, rate of fire is 350 rounds per minute, capacity is 6 rounds, accuracy is 80, recoil is 60, and the reload time is 1.6 seconds. The ZM48 is obviously a revolver and has all the same attachments as the other secondaries, except for its mag. It can only have a quick draw cylinder, making it go from 1.6 seconds to 1.1 seconds. The ZM48 has the same damage and fire rate as the 1181. Yes, it's a little bit more accurate, but I think the 1181 is a little bit better, because if you miss with those 6 shots with the ZM48, then you have to rely on your quick reload. That's why I give the ZM48 a D ranking. I don't really use this gun. It's very iconic, and it's very nice to use occasionally, but I'm not really going out and using it very often. Next up, we have the UP99. The UP99 has a damage of 45, rate of fire is 545 rounds per minute, capacity is 12 rounds, accuracy is 30, recoil is 20, and the reload time is 1.2 seconds. Alright, since the UP99 is a machine gun pistol, we're going to do a recoil test for it. So here it is, the standard UP99 recoil test. And not much pull to the left and to the right, but definitely a bad spread pattern. It just spreads to the left and to the right all over the place. Okay, test number 2, similar pattern, a little bit more condensed. That stray bullet to the top right is a little outlier. After test number 3, the spread pattern is like test number 1, but with some of the attachments, this can be corrected. The UP99 was added in the most recent gun update, and it makes it the only automatic pistol in the secondaries. It has all the same attachments as the other secondaries, but if we look at the magazine, we can add a quick draw mag to reduce the reload time down to 0.8 seconds. Or we can add an extended mag to increase the capacity up to 22 rounds. This is my new favorite secondary to use. Just in case I miss with my primary, I can switch over to my secondary, which is almost like another machine gun. And because of that, I give the UP99 an S ranking. And finally, the last gun and the last secondary, the sawed-off. The sawed-off has a damage of 50, fire rate 6,000 rounds per minute, capacity 2 rounds, accuracy 10, recoil 200, and a reload time of 1.5 seconds. And now onto the final gun that we're going to test for the day, the sawed-off shotgun. The first test we're going to do is not aim down sights, firing both shells. So after test 1, as we can see, the spread is all over the place after the 2 shots firing from the hip, making our gun jump to the right. Now we're going to test number 2, aiming down sights. And after test 2, we can see that the spread was contained just a little bit, condensed, but still spread out. Also, the gun still kicked up, but not as much as when we're firing from the hip. The sawed-off is the fastest rate of fire gun in all of One Arm Robber currently. With 6,000 rounds per minute, it is 2 rounds that can be fired off very quickly. Now for attachments, it's very simple. You have none. It's just a sawed-off. You can't add a scope, can't add a muzzle, can't add a grip, and can't add no more magazines. So you're practically stuck with the sawed-off being a loud choice only. Just like its other counterparts of the shotguns, it's very fun to use, so I would just use this if you're doing it stealthy and you mess up, and you have the shotgun just for fun. And because of all this, I give the sawed-off a B ranking. And that was the ranking of all the weapons currently in One Arm Robber. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to help the channel grow. And if you want to see an attachment video, let me know in the comment section below and I'll make that video. If you want to see a funny video, click the video on the left. If you want to see more tutorial videos, click the video on the right. And like always, I hope you have a fantastic day and I'll see you in the next video.